Good afternoon to everyone who's joining us. Welcome. Uh, Still waiting on Travis to join us, but until he does, welcome, and we'll get started. So we do have some videos to look at, and again, we'll wait for Travis to join us before we do that. But let me get this opened here. Where are we at? Okay. Hey Jim, how you doing? Hopefully, I do better with the videos this time. Okay, nice to see you. Okay, nice to see you there. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to talk about is in judo development. It's much harder now, at least in the United States, to teach the the game of judo, how to actually play the game. People look at judo differently than a game of a different sport, but that's not how it is. I mean, in judo, we want to create situations where we force reactions, and through a forced reaction, we're able to take advantage of it. We're able to force someone to play us a certain way, and we also take advantage of when they play us that way. There's so many different strategic situations, whether it's right on right, right on left, high grip, over the other side of the head. There's so many different situations, not unlike any other sport. So while we're learning how to use our techniques and develop our techniques, we also have to learn how to play the game. And when I was growing up, there were so many judo players on the mat in so many tournaments in the United States, and the way the system was set up for for throwing for ippon, that it was a little easier to learn the game. Plus, when I was growing up, also, we weren't sidetracked by electronics and social media, so we were always competing somewhere. So we got the feel for playing the game a little better than now. When I ask my students, tell me a game that you play, and they hold up, they say, "You mean on my phone?" I said, "No. Do you play baseball, basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse, any other game?" It's important. Kids are competitive when they're growing up. It's much better for teaching them judo. And again, also when I was younger, we had competitions almost every weekend. I mean, I was, sitting in my car from the time I was 5 years old, traveling around the Midwest, mostly in Illinois and Wisconsin, but, Michigan, Indiana, and Kentucky. I mean, there was always a place to have a tournament. Today, if there's a tournament once every 3 months, we're lucky. And again, finding the numbers in the tournaments are challenging too. So it's a little more challenging now. So teaching the game of judo just doesn't happen by osmosis like it happened a little bit for me when I was younger, because there was so much judo. So we have to teach it now. And it's important for us as coaches or even as athletes to try to think a little bit, watch videos, and you can watch videos all the time. And I have some videos today that will show that too, is that when you watch someone like Abe, Hifumi Abe, that when he does a sode and someone leans all the way back to stop it, and then you see him bring his hands up for sode and do an osoto, you can tell that he's taking advantage of the defensive actions of his opponent. He's forcing that reaction and taking advantage of it. It sounds simple when I talk about it, but it does take feel. And developing that feel takes time. And it certainly takes more time with the less randori and less competitions we have. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But it's something that I think that we need to pay attention to. And even at an early age, when you start teaching techniques, you want to teach a forward technique and a backward technique. You want to teach a technique where your young students are turning their backs, so they get used to turning into Sanagi. And what I like to do is I like to teach at a very beginning stage within the first month how to counter osoto gari, osoto gashi. So we get used to turning our hips. And that leads us to the reaction, not only to counter osoto, but as we get into doing uchimata and haraigoshi and we have to turn our hips, and it's a good practice at a young age to do. So I think it's important to make sure that when we teach for a reason with a goal in mind. No different than when we're teaching math and starting at the bottom and developing our athletes. And as we teach them, we watch them, we correct them, we make sure they're learning, and we don't go to step three until we finish step one and two. I know sometimes it's a lot to ask of teachers and coaches, but as I look at a math teacher, you open up a chapter, you go through the first third of it, and then you get a paper and you take a quiz, and the teacher takes the paper home and grades every one of the problems. She sees what mistakes you're making and she knows what you need to work on. She makes that correction. Then you take another quiz and you go to the next third and you go all the way to the end, and then you take a chapter quiz or test, and you're constantly aware of where your students are struggling or where they're advancing. And it's no different in judo. Now, mind you, we're not unnecessarily trained educators, and we're not paid like trained educators, but still, if we want to teach judo, it's important to understand that we want to give them the right foundational skills to learn. And when they're not there, it's really difficult to learn judo. I'm doing it now. I'm working with athletes that did not learn correctly, and breaking bad habits is far, far more difficult than starting a new beginner. It's just the facts. And if you talk to teachers, they'll tell you that, especially in judo, they'll tell you that too. So just, keep in mind that as we're working with young students, to take the time to watch them, correct them, and if they need more time on a technique or a skill, take the time to do it, because it's really difficult when you have weaknesses as you learn judo going forward. It's really hard to develop a well-rounded game in judo. So it's important to do. So as we go forward, uh, in this, so the videos, when I started off with Travis, I was finding videos from all different eras, and it was fun, and they were really, some neat videos. But we're fortunate today that while maybe in the U.S. judo's not uh, doesn't seem to be growing as fast as we'd like, around the world it is, and there's competitions constantly, constantly good judo competitions. If you're a judo fan today, it's really easy to watch good judo. So we recently just had the French Grand Slam, and then right after that we had the Baku Grand Slam, and such great judo in both. So while I set my videos for today's call from the French Grand Slam, and after I watched the Baku, I had to pull some from there too. I'm going to show you a few, and we'll get started. Let's see. So I'm going to start with this one. Let me see if I could do this. Okay. Okay, so no, I don't know. Let me see. Was everyone able to see that video? Just out of curiosity. If Steve, Jim, someone could respond before I talk about it. I just showed a quick video. I want to talk about it. I just want to make sure you guys can see it. Yes. Okay. Great. So what I want to show you is that what I learned when I was younger in judo is something called taisabaki, how to move. Okay, it's something that I don't believe is taught anymore. It certainly was taught to me when I was younger, and with my many senseis on the mat, in their own way, pushing me. And it's something we learned, and we have to move when we do judo. I see these young kids grabbing the head and throwing, grabbing the sleeves and dropping to your knees, and there's really no movement in judo. And movement's really important. And this is just one example that, that I saw, and it's an ashiguruma. It's just, where a tori is moving and forcing uke to move in a direction that sets up the ashiguruma. It's really a nice attack. Watch, he just moves to his right and then just swings it around. Nice ashiguruma, very nice, nice and simple. And I want you guys to know that it's 11:09. Is that it? Okay. I want you guys to know that these are the top players in the world we're watching. It's not at a beginner tournament. These are the best guys in the world. Let me show it one more time. Best guys in the world. And just watch as he moves to his right, he forces Uke to come around in the circular motion with his right leg. He forces that movement. And as he moves to his right and forces it, he just steps across and does a really nice ashiguruma. Nice ashiguruma. Nice judo. Nice judo. And again, we're talking about movement, forcing reactions and movement. I'm going to go to another video now. Let's see, you see it. Okay, another video now. And you'll forgive me for being, let me go here if I could stop this. Let's see if I could do this. Hold on. So I am partial to heavyweights sometimes. I hope you'll understand that. I like to see heavyweights move. And I want you to watch this because it's a forced reaction. And while it's easy to watch Abe do it, but as we watch heavyweights do it, we're going to watch how he sets up the reaction by doing a sode. And it's not a great sode, but he threatens him forward. So now, with the threat forward, he just hits that kouchi. Can I move this? No, I can't. Let's see how I could do that. God, we could see this again. My face is in the way. So we're going to watch this one more time. I wish I could adjust this. Oh, here we go. So watch how the Georgian, again, if I could slow it down, you could see it, that when he comes forward with, let me see if I can I get this back here? So he does the sode, and now when he comes in here, look how far back Uke is leaning. Look how far back. And if you watch the Tori, he keeps his back straight when he comes forward. Because if he would lean forward into the kouchi, he wouldn't get the reaction. But he sells the sode. He makes his opponent react by keeping his back straight rather than leaning forward. The Georgian feels the sode coming, and he's got to go back on his heels. And when he goes back on his heels, he's open for the kouchi. We'll watch it again. Look how hard he goes down. So he's not going down that way if he's not leaning back. That's a forced reaction. It's a forced reaction. That's the game of judo. That's the game of judo. We're threatening our opponent. We're forcing him to react, and in that forced reaction, we take him in the direction that he's moving. I mean, that's I mean, all of judo is about using your opponent's weight to your advantage. He's leaning back. We don't want to take him forward. We want to take him back. So that's just a classic way of doing it. I wanted to, before I get into one theme a little bit. Uh, as you know, I'm a big Ashi guy. You guys that have been watching me, you know how I feel. I love watching the Ashi, and this is just a good feel, for Ashiwaza. And as I've spoken before, we need to be practicing Ashiwaza every day. Back when I was young in the Buddhist temple, I walked around the mats every day, Ashiwaza, Ashibarai, sweeping and sweeping. And then you do it in practice all the time. And then you develop a feel for it. And here is just a good example of a nice throw. Look at that Ashi. Look at it again. As he's coming up, nails him. Let's see if we can get that again. Look at the foot sweep. Look how he just catches it. So I want you to know that in doing that, well, Sutton, I apologize. If you have a question, feel free to ask me. Travis has not signed in yet, so you're stuck with me again. I might be able to answer your question if you've got one. So go ahead and ask it. And again, I tell everyone that, my email is steve@americanjudo.com. Anyone who wants to send me an email, have a question, you want to share a video with me, go ahead and do that. I'm available anytime. So I'm not quite sure where Travis is right now, but you're stuck with me. So anyway, when we watch that Ashiwaza, there's a feel. Okay, how do we develop the feel in judo? How do you develop it? Okay, we develop feel, in your hands. As you play judo more, and you don't play stiff, you relax when you play judo, and you could feel your opponent's shift of weight. You feel it. So your reactions are instinctive. They're instinctive. So obviously you have to do a lot of judo, but you want to play judo, relaxed, and again, you grab the gi hard, but you relax when you move. You relax your body when you move. And you get to feel your opponent shift of weight. And when you do that, then you're able to react. And obviously, like any other sport, there are athletes that are better than others. There's no question. That's the way it is in all sports. And the best of the best athletes are, they have the best feel and they play the game the best. So I mean, that's just the way it is in all sport. But as you play judo, if you're an athlete, if you're a coach, a sensei, you want your students to relax when they play and feel the flow. Use their feet all the time. Use your feet all the time. Whether it's ashi, whether it's ochi, kochi. Use your feet all the time, sasai. Get used to it. I'm telling you, at ages 5 through 10 or 12, you don't know when your kid's going to develop. I didn't develop my foot sweep till I was 15 years old. And I started when I was 5. You will develop, continue the foundational skills of judo every day. And you will develop some good players. And whether they become good players as far as winning medals or good coaches and good senseis, all of that is possible the more they learn. When you look at professional sports, the greatest coaches and their coaching staff were not necessarily the greatest players. They were good players, but not the best in the world, but they understood the game. And when you understand the game and how to play and how to develop, that's a different skill set than being an athlete. So it's really good to it's really good to teach that way, because you'll develop athletes, coaches, teachers, and also a different love for judo as you watch it. Okay, let me see if I could. Let me see what scene I want to go to next. Let me see what this is. Okay, so I put this in for Travis's for Travis Moore. Travis loves Nawaza. He's great at it. Not that I don't love it, but I prefer Tachiwaza. But it's just a simple movement turnover as and again when we're doing Nawaza, it's not one move. It's transitional. It's transitional. One move leads to another. You go in for Sankaku. You turn him over. He hooks the leg. Okay. You move out of Sankaku into another move that leads to a Jujikatami. It's just really, it's all transitional. Oh, we got the arm coming over, hooking the head. Can't get the Sankaku. Quick Osaikomi, the leg gets hooked. Now the leg goes around the head to the other side. Well, underneath the body, and he comes in for the Juji. He just goes right to the Juji. There's the leg. There it is. It's over. So in Newaza, and I would tell you that it's worth watching. Kayla Harrison in the Olympics, I think it's 2012. She won every single match by Ippon and Newaza, and it is it's really beautiful to watch how there's a system where you go for one move, you go for another that leads to another move, you go for the choke gets blocked, you go for the armbar, you go, I mean, one leads to the other, and it's no different than Tachiwaza. One thing leads to another. Yeah, there was some good Newaza in France, and I'll tell you that the Japanese athletes, especially the women, are focusing quite a bit in Newaza now, and it's beautiful to watch. And in a previous, I don't know if it was this one or there was coffee or my other session that I went over it, and you watch one girl won the Tokyo Grand Slam, the quarters, the semis, and the finals with a Jujikatami, just really, really simple Jujikatami. You're watching people that are getting, that are getting turned over. And if you watch Uta Abe, she, as great as she is in Tachiwaza, her Newaza is phenomenal. Well, I would tell you that, Newaza, doing Newaza in judo takes a lot of hard work and drilling, just like Tachiwaza. And and Kanto's one of your favorites. Yeah, Kanto is phenomenal. Flavio's phenomenal. I watched him grow up. He's phenomenal, phenomenal. I would tell you that guys like Kashi Wazaki from Japan, who was unbelievable. There's a lot of Brits, Neil Adams, with a lot of British athletes that were phenomenal on the ground. And I could tell you this, that with the exception of one American, every single American that won a medal was able to win on the mat, win on the ground. It was Bob Berland, Mike Swain, Jimmy Pedro, Travis, Kayla, Marty. All the athletes were able to win on the ground. And there is a difference between being good in Newaza and being able to win in Newaza. Lots of people are good in Newaza, but being able to win in Newaza is different. And I have the people that I think that are exceptional that I grew up with. Who was the exception, Jason? Very good, Jordan. Yes, the exception was Jason Morris, but let's not forget Jason Morris was a NCAA All-American wrestler. Okay, so he wasn't so easy to get on the ground. Trust me. But winning on the ground is not where he won his matches. He won his matches standing because the standing was phenomenal. Yeah, 2016. Thanks, Paul. Yep. She was Kayla. It's beauty to watch Kayla fight in that, and just watch how nawaza works. And the system is from Jimmy and Dr. Furman Training Center and Kimono Company. Roddy. Oh, hi, Roddy. Okay. Love me so bowing around choke from stand to ground. Yeah. I mean, nawaza's fun, and I'm telling you, for me as a teacher, and my forte is tachiwaza. Teaching nawaza is easy because it's mechanical. Nawaza is mechanical. So, I mean, tachiwaza takes so much feel in tachiwaza. It takes years to learn. Nawaza is not that way. One hand goes here, one foot goes here. Now, obviously, to be good, you have to be good and you have to be able to play. But I'm telling you that you should do as much nawaza as tachiwaza, and your kids will have so much more luck competing because most clubs do not concentrate on nawaza. So my recommendation, I do it myself, and I wasn't someone who was a great on nawaza, but as a teacher, my students have done very well. Roddy was great on the ground. Travis is so good. Yeah, and I say this with all due respect to all those. Jimmy was the best. Jimmy was the best in the world. Jimmy got you down, he'd get you. For 5 years, I watched him. He was just the very best I saw. I watched Neil Adams play. Bob Berland was great. Swain was great. I'm just telling you, no one was like Jimmy. And I'm telling you, the guys he beat were the best of the best. So I mean, it's my opinion. And you want to say Travis is so good? He sure was. Travis is phenomenal. And if you ever have a one-on-one conversation with Travis about nawaza, it's not a 10-minute conversation, I promise you. He is a deep, deep thinker. Everything he does is for a reason. And if you have a good judo mind and you like to listen, it's worth listening to him talk about nawaza. It's very, very, very thought out on what he does and how he does it and how he uses it to win matches. Jimmy's the best degree. Had the honor to have him teach him. Yeah. Good for you. Jimmy is like I said, I don't hold back with that. He was phenomenal. And absolutely. But listen, Mike Swain was phenomenal. Mike Swain was like a leech. He got on your back and he was like stuck to you. Very amazing. Bob Berland was the most physical guy on the mat. His sankaku started with his knee in your head. I'm telling you, we had some great nawaza players. So I mean, it's worth doing. It's worth teaching, and it's worth looking at the videos and breaking it down. And because it's another part of judo. I mean, there's 4 ways to win in judo. 3 of them are in nawaza. So I mean, just thinking as if you were to ask a layman, there's 3 ways to win on one side and 1 way to win on the other. Going to 3 ways is makes some sense. So, Alex, I would tell you, for me, the way I teach, no, I don't need judo nawaza. If it's taught right, I don't need that. Most of the judo people that train BJJ or wrestling is a school sport, which gives you peer acceptance, and it's a different animal there. It's a different animal. Most of the judo kids win wrestling with their judo. But if you're doing judo nawaza regularly, I don't think you need to supplement it. That's my view. But I mean, I take the time every day. We do nawaza chikomi, right and left side. Then we do different situations against resistance. We do drills, and then we do nawaza randori, and we mix it up. And that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You have books by Swain. Yeah, Swain. I'll just take this time to say that, with all due respect to people that won medals in the Olympics and the World Championships and all the guys that are great, there's a different level of guy that wins in all the tournaments. And I take nothing away from the people that won medals, here. Jimmy won every tournament. Jason won every tournament. Swain won every tournament. It's not that they won one. Jimmy won France. I think he's the only one who won Paris. He's the only person that did that. But he won Austria, Germany, Hungary. He won everything. He won everything. That's what Swain did. Swain was, and Swain beat what some consider the greatest judo player of all. He beat Koga. And he stood right up to Koga and went after him. I was there. I watched the match, and it was quite exciting. Well, when you do nawaza at your club, you need to do all different situations, and you want to do tachiwaza with a transition, because when you're doing nawaza in a competition, it's going to be really difficult to get someone when they're locked on their hands and knees, or they get you in their guard. You've got to move during the transition. You need to learn. Someone falls down on the ground or gets knocked down, they're stopping themselves from falling. They're stopping themselves from getting on their back. That's the time when their arms and their legs and everything's open. So if you don't practice that transition, you're not going to. It's going to be hard to win in competitions at a higher level. Good players are hard to get. You need to get them in the transition. So you need to practice that at your club. So you do tachiwaza and you tachiwaza drills. You do nawaza drills. And then you do randori with transition, so you can do that. You can get that practice of doing the transition when you're doing randori. It's really important to do, because where else are you going to learn that? And again, I say this to all of you senseis, coaches, teachers: watch your athletes and correct them. Let them know when they're doing it right and doing it wrong, so they can build on that. It's really important to do that. And that's how we develop athletes. And you start transition at a fairly young age. Not 5 or 6, but when the kids are 11 and 12, you want to start, teaching them, and they're going to be choking soon, and they get into the cadets, and arm bars are legal. So you got to start transitioning them into a cadet and above nawaza. Not only for offense but for defense. So it's important to do that. It's important to do that. And again, you structure the workout that way. Structure your workouts during the week so you get transition in, through your workouts, so your kids start to learn and get the feel. So someone who's doing Ouchigari, that their Ouchigari is a good move. Most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, you're going to find people turn out of the Ouchigari the same way. If you do a Tayatoshi, people are going to stop it and move similar. Not always, but it's similar. So you start getting used to that movement, that after the Ouchi, how you go right into the Juji, the Sankaku, whatever you're going to do. You get the feel of that, and you get to feel the opening, and that's how you develop. And then you go in tournaments and you do it. So, it's a process, right? It's a process learning how to be a competitive athlete, and again, even if you're not a competitive athlete, it's the fun part of judo. That's what you want to learn, in baseball, I know you like to catch the ball, but you want to hit the ball once in a while too. Sometimes you want to steal a base. You want to play all ends of the game. That's a great drill. There's all sorts of drills. Travis has a ton of drills for nawaza. I'm sure Jimmy does too, but I've done clinics with Travis. He has some great nawaza drills. Where you start, where's the transition and stuff. Maybe next time when he's here, we could talk about it a little bit. But he has some fantastic drills that he does. And listen, you're in judo. Be creative. Go ahead and be creative. Try something new. If it doesn't work, don't do it. You're on the mats all the time. Don't be afraid to be creative in doing judo. Okay. Travis will be coming back. Okay. I don't know where he is now, but he'll be coming back. Yes, he'll be coming back to YouTube. I know they're really busy. They may be at a competition now. I really don't know. Uh, Nonetheless, Travis will be coming back for sure. All right, so let me get to another. One of the things, and I want everyone to understand that the athletes in world class judo are really strong. They're really strong, and strength. The Europeans that are strong, when you train to beat them, you don't have to be stronger than them, but you have to be able to play their strength. Now, you have to be as strong as you can be, without a doubt, but you also have to be able to feel their strength and know how to play it. Because I know the first time I felt it, I thought I was a little boy in a men's gym. The Europeans are really strong. So here, one of my favorite players is Clarice Aboriginou. She's a Olympic world champion. She's a phenomenal athlete, and she's just coming back. I think this is her. That is her in the blue gi. This is a final match of the French Grand Slam, and there was a little bit of a theme there. So this is just one of them, and you'll see how strong she is. Just gripping, fighting for position, getting that grip, and up and over. Let's try that one more time. She's just really strong, and she's hard to move. When she gets that grip around your back, she's hard to move. Let's watch one more time. She gets the grip, and in my case, I'm changing my grip from there. That's what I would do. I fought some big guys, and when they get their arm around me, I don't necessarily like to stay there, and that's a really good reason why. Clarice is really strong, really strong. She's a great player, great player, but she is strong. And when she gets that arm around you, coming across is not a good idea. So here we're going to take another one here. Let's go here. Now you just saw the women and their strength. Now you're going to see the men. And again, getting locked up with these guys is a challenge. It's certainly a challenge enough for me that I would never lock up with them, but that's me. So just watch this lift. That's one heck of a lift. Yeah. So there seemed to be a theme. There seems to be a theme with some really nice urnagis and lifts in the French and in Baku. Uh, Judo continues to evolve. Being very strong isn't mandatory, but it sure helps. Just lift someone your size in the air like that. Well, when you say being very strong isn't mandatory, I'll explain to you that being as strong as you can be is mandatory. If you're going to fight at that level, you don't have to be the strongest, but you have to be as strong as you can be. It's too hard. It's too hard. So, I mean, you get strong in many different ways. You get strong in the weight room, which is one thing, but you get strong doing judo. The judo strength is what you need. And obviously, that lift is technique. There's no question it's technique, but you have to be strong. You get strong by doing a lot of judo. You do judo when you're tired. You have to do judo when you're tired. You will develop a judo strength that way. The strongest guys in judo don't look like the strongest guys by looking at them. Some do. Many of them don't. Many of them don't look that strong, but when they grab you and with their gi on, they're really strong. So understand that there's a judo strength that's necessary to have if you're going to compete at this level. Now, if you want to play judo, you don't have to be the strongest. You can enjoy moving, doing your techniques, and practicing judo. That's fine. But we're watching the Grand Slam, which is the tournaments that are deciding who goes to the Olympics. These are the best of the best players. You have to be as strong as you can be. There's no getting around it. You'll be picked up and thrown. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying strength is than technique. You need to have technique. You need to have it all. You need to have it all at this level. Not at every level. You need to have it all. He's been in judo and jiu-jitsu whole life and has dominated tournaments. His next will be the biggest challenge. I don't want him going in with same attitude. Going with same. So here's what I tell everyone. We're developing athletes. If you're 8 years old, you're developing. Okay. Winning is not the most important thing. And I am adamant about this. Whether it's practice or competition, the most important thing is getting better. Getting better. You want to go to practice, and every time you leave practice, every day you leave practice, you want to be better than you walked in. When you go to a tournament, you want to get better. Now, as the coach, the sensei, the teacher, you are the one that decides what getting better is. Sometimes, if you're old, getting better is taking a good ukemi. Sometimes it's making a good attack. Okay? We're building. Okay? Don't get caught up at winning at a young age, because people that win at a young age don't always stay with the sport when it gets hard, and certainly don't always win when they get older. So I'm telling you, the focus has got to be on getting better, because we're developing. There's going to be time in your life and your career where winning's important. At 8 years old, winning's not important. I understand that kids like to win and it motivates them. I get that. I mean, when I go to a tournament with my kids, I want them to win too. But understand, if you're teaching, we want them getting better. Okay, because going into an easy tournament, throwing someone and pinning them and getting up and not getting better and winning a gold medal means nothing. It means nothing. We want our kid to get better. So it may be that you're fighting someone you're better than, and you limit your student. Say, okay, today, we've been working on Morote Sanagi. I want you to do Morote Sanagi. I want you to do Kochi in this match. Let's try to get the Kochi. Go ahead and challenge your student if they have an easy match. And they may not win that match, but they may get one good Kochi off, and that's better. Okay? We're trying to grow. We don't grow by the amount of medals we win at 8 years old. We grow by getting better. So it's important. It's important to do that. Okay, let me find one more video. Let's see. I didn't. Which one is this? Let me see. Okay, so here we go again with just the theme of of these girls and guys doing lifts. Lots of uranagis. I was maybe a little surprised. I didn't know there were I didn't expect to see as much, but lots of uranagis. Oh, looks like that's an American girl. Okay. Hopefully she doesn't call me for showing the video. We'll watch again. Here we are. We're stuck. We're stuck. Gotta be really careful putting your back on someone's chest like that. That is a challenge. That is a challenge. Which one is this? Okay, so here we go again. Another one. Okay, and getting someone on their back is the goal, right? That's what we want to do. Uh, there are players that do it better than others, without a doubt. Uh, this is just another shot. Drop Sanagi, lifting up, going. Let's watch again. Look at the position. He's not letting him up. I mean, so no different, no different than someone having a good Sanagi or someone having a good Ashibrai. Uh, there are people that lift and go backwards really, really well. They have a great feel for it. They're really good at it. And for me, when I fought, I always made sure my arms were in front of me. I never got stuck back there. I find it dangerous. And obviously, as we're watching, whether it's Tani Otoshi or Nagi with lift, you know, to me, it's time to move quickly when you get stuck in there. That's just for me. We saw this one. Let's see what this is. We saw this one. I'm sorry, I didn't know Travis wasn't going to be here, and I don't. Oh, here's a nice one. Okay, here's one I like. For those of you that either read my letters, go to my coach's calls, or watch my girls play, you know that Ouchigari is a throw that I believe is absolutely necessary for everyone to do. It's a great technique. It could be used in so many different situations. One of my good friends, Jason Morris, says that whatever the question is, Ouchigari is the answer. And I like that because there's so many different ways you can do it. Whether it's right on right, whether it's off a Russian grip, whether it's, off the grip, one hand. I've got so many different examples of how to do Ouchi. And one of them is just right off the grip. And here's a video, right? It's in the French Grand Slam. It's just a beautiful, beautiful technique, right off the grip, right away. So one of the things I'll point out as we watch this, and I don't have the ability for slow motion. I tried to get that on my coach's call, and the whole thing broke down. And I still got some videos to send you guys, Steve and Jim. So I haven't forgotten. I just need Travis to help me work the system. But watch Tori's leg and how his knee turns out pointed in the direction of the throw. When his knee turns out, he gets his hips turned out and he's chest to chest with his opponent. That's where you have to be to do Ouchigari. When you're arching your back, it's really difficult to keep to throw and really easy to be countered. Watch the rotation and watch how his knee comes all the way out toward the throw. Again, the knee is out, chest to chest, down. That's hard to stop. Ouchi's hard to stop when it's done correctly. It's hard to stop when it's done correctly. Uh, I, uh, uh, I, I have my kids practice this every single day. Had a 2-hour session today. We practiced Ouchigari, all different ways of doing it. So it's good to do. It's good to do. I don't know. Do I have another video here? Oh, we saw this one. Sorry. I think we're done with that. All right. Listen, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys coming on and spending time with me. Travis is always supposed to be here, so I imagine he'll be here next time. If not, we're not going to give him any more coffee. So we'll make sure he's here next time. Thanks for tuning in. I'm judo champion in Poland. Well, Stanislaw, congratulations. Poland is a good judo country, really good judo country, and I have watched some great judo players from Poland, including Nastula and Pawlowski, who's in Canada now. But Nastula was phenomenal player. I was fortunate to get to watch him play. He was great. Another great nawaza guy, big nawaza guy. So love the Polish judo. Thanks. Thanks for joining me, guys. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and come back next week.